So let us begin. So this is what I was discussing with you at the end of the last class, the problem that I gave. I thought I will give you some more clarity toward this problem. So I was asking you to design a universal register, to be more exact, shift register. Universal shift register. So if it has to be a universal shift register, we should be able to load the data parallelly. We should be able to take out the data parallelly. So that is parallel in and parallel out operation. And then parallel in and serial out means we should be able to load the data parallelly, and then we should be able to take out the data serially. So if we are taking out the data serially, depending upon whether you are doing the left shift or right shift, the pin from which you take the output will vary. For example, if it is a parallel in serial out, but with the right shift, you have to take out the data from Y0. Okay, so this will be your serial out for a right shift. Okay, so here the right means it is going to the right direction. Okay, taking out from the rightmost bit. So that is the LSB. So Y0. So all the outputs are available. Y0 to Y7. All the outputs are available. But if you are considering it to operate as a parallel in serial out, then you take out the data from Y0 if you are doing the right shift. But in case if you are doing the left shift, then your data should be taken out from Y7. Okay, so Y7 will, so all this will be available, Y0 to Y7. But if you want to operate it as a parallel in serial out, you just need to consider only one of the output bit and take the data from that bit. And then as the clock comes, the data stored in the register will be shifted once every clock cycle. Okay, so that is what you have to consider. And then the other operation is serial in. So serial in means you could let the data in from the left side, or let the data coming in from the right side. So depending upon whether you want left shift or right shift. So if you want the right shift, you enter the data from the left. If you want left shift, you enter the data from the right. Okay, so this is for left shift. Okay, so this left and right you should not get confused. So that's why I'm making it more clear. And for right shift operation, you enter the data. That means serial input will be from the left side. What else? So serial in, parallel out. So you enter the data from any of this depending upon whether it is right shift or left shift, and then parallel out, you take out everything parallelly. Okay. So these are basically the operation, and I said there are two control signals, A and B. So one of them you can use it to use for the purpose of loading the data. Say you take load, okay, A as for the purpose of loading the data. So whenever A is high, what it will do is that there will be no shift operation will be activated. It will be basically loading the data. So and at that time you can see whatever is the data that is loaded from Y0 to Y7. So after loading, X0 to X7 will be stored inside the register, and that will be available for a parallel out. Okay, and now if you want to control the shift, for that you have to use another bit, that is control bit, that is B. So this is the bit that will specify whether you should shift left or shift right. Shift left or shift right. So let me say shift left bar and shift right. So that means that controls the direction in which you are going to shift, but this will be activated only when A is 0. That means you don't want to load the data parallelly. So this is basically parallel load, and if you are not loading parallelly, you need to serially load. Okay, so when A equal to 0, so the one way you can decide is like you can write the control signal AB like 0 1 0 sorry, 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1. So what is the operation that you do when it is 0 0? Okay, so you are not loading the data. You load the data when you could do the other way also, but I'm just giving one possibility. So if A is 0, you are not loading the data, and depending upon the value of B, you do the serial shift operation. So serial in, so here the operation is going to be serial in from this particular, okay, from right side. So that means we are doing the left shift, serial in from the right side. And if this is 0 and this is 1, then you load parallelly, you load the data, and then you have 1 0. So sorry, when A is 1 only you are loading, so this will be the case of again serial shift only. So when A is equal to 0, again you are not loading, and but B is 1 means you do the right shift. So right shift, so if you want to do right shift, serial in from the left side. Left side. Okay. I gave these details in your Google Classroom. You can look at it in the question. Okay, so then when A is equal to 1, you basically load the data. So you don't look at okay, so we can add one more function. When 1 0, so you can do one thing, you can say load the data. Okay, so one more operation is possible. So here load the data parallelly, and the last operation you can just keep the data, store the data, or hold the data. Okay, so nothing is entering from left or right, no shift register is under operation, but whatever was the earlier data, that will be stored. So these are the 4 operations, because with the 2 control input you can have 4 different options possible. So you can take it as, so this will have all the features of PIPO, PISO, CISO, SIPO, depending upon from where you take the output and where you give the input, it will have. But for it to do it in a particular way, you also need to give the right values according to the control signal. So you can change the order, that is not a big issue. You can give 00 for holding the data and 01 for loading the data, so that is also welcome, and then 01 for or 10 for shifting left, and 11 for shifting right. So any of this you can interchange, because if you are doing it in a behavioral way, you can just simply change the condition under which what operation is taking place. That I leave to you. You can either choose this, or you can choose different. This is something like an opcode. Okay, when you do the microprocessor, you have instruction set, and in instruction set you have what is called as opcode. So the control input is acting like an opcode. So depending upon what is the magnitude of the opcode, appropriate operation will be taking place. So it will be configured to perform a certain operation. And hierarchically, if you want to implement it, you just need to use a 4x1 multiplexer. Yesterday I have shown you the usage of 2x1 multiplexer to choose between two options, like loading the data parallelly and shifting to the right direction, right? So that was the case that I have shown you. But if you want to have say two more features, yesterday I only took one of the output because I don't wanted parallel output, but in this case you should have serial in and parallel out also should be there, and there should be serial input from both sides also. So that's because to incorporate the other options which are there. So there are 4 different operations, and you can have two different shifting possible, but the control signal need not be 3. It is only 2 is enough, because with these 4 different operation, all these things we can achieve. Okay, so now if you look at the internal details, how the control signal is going to so I will just show with respect to one register. So this is a D flip-flop, and the input of the D flip-flop we will give from a multiplexer. Okay, so let me just draw that here itself. So we have a multiplexer, and this multiplexer is now 4x1 max. So there are 4 input. So according to this opcode, when serial in has to be achieved, so we will have these control signals. So this is my A and B. So when AB equal to 0, what I want is basically serial in from the right side. So that means left shift. So suppose this is say my MSB, or let me just take a somewhere between. So here data is 8-bit. So I will take somewhere in between and just show one of the bit, say D4. So if it is doing the left shift, so it has to take data from this 0 1 2 3. So the data at the zeroth input has to be coming from your D3. So this should be not D3, Q3. Okay, so this way you can give the data. So you take the next section output. So this is your Q4, and it is given here. Now if you want to do the right shift, what you do is you take it from the left side. So that will be the section here. So that is basically your Q5. You will be connecting here, and then if you want to load, then you will have to give it directly from X4, and if it is store, then you need to connect it from here. So that is your Q4. So this is how you basically achieve this. So I've just shown one particular subset. So there will be 8 such things, and the extreme left and extreme right sub blocks will have slight difference, because there is no rightmost cell corresponding to, say, Q0, D0, Q0. So if you want to take it from the right side, you need to take it from this particular serial in right pin. Okay. So if this is Q0, D0, Q0, then the first entry will be from serial in right. Okay. And similarly, if it is D7, Q7, the second entry will be from the serial in left. Okay. So that's only difference. Otherwise, you can so structurally you can design just like this, repeating this block say 8 number of times and then connecting them, but that will be more hectic in when you write the Verilog program, because you need to be very careful with the mapping and all. But that's not what I have asked you to do. What I have asked you to do is basically design it using a behavioral approach. Okay, so there will be a clock also, which I have not mentioned. So depending upon positive edge or negative edge, there will be no bubble or with bubble. Okay, if bubble is there, that is negative edge triggered. All right, so that is just giving some details for your assignment. Now let's move on. For today, what I am going to do is going to discuss another. I'm going to discuss the design of a very important subsystem in all the processors, and that is your arithmetic, logic shift unit. Okay. So the same idea which I have just now presented, you can use that means like using multiplexers, you can choose what is the operation that you want to achieve. So that idea you can implement. With that idea you can implement a arithmetic logic shift unit. Okay, this is something like an ALU which has also some shifting operation possible. So ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. So here it is arithmetic operations, logic operations, shift operation, everything in one. So how we can design a subsystem like this? So okay, so these are some of the important subsystems in any big design. So for example, when you design a processor, you will have to have one subsystem called ALU. So how we can design it? So there is a simple approach which I would like to present to you right now. So before I go to the complete block diagram, so I will take these things part by part. So that means the first part I will take is the arithmetic unit. Now how to implement an arithmetic unit? So I will show a 4-bit case. Okay. So 4-bit arithmetic logic shift. The present day computer will have 64-bit arithmetic logic unit, but what I am going to present is a simpler version. You can scale it up with more number of basic unit cells. So it will have basically a full adder. Any arithmetic operation that we are going to do, it is going to be achieved with the help of say full adder, and there will be a full adder corresponding to each bit. So this is another full adder. So there are 4 bits so I am going to operate with, so there will be 4 full adder. So let me just denote, this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is where I give my LSB, and into this full adder I give one of the input as A0 and another one A1, here A2 and A3. And full adder will have a carry in, so C in, and it will have C out, which will be connected like this. So this is like you can say a ripple carry. So C out, so this is C out 0, C out 1, C out 2, C out 3. So this will be your carry out. Okay, so all of them are connected like this. And the second input, what I do is that I give it through a multiplexer, a 4 by 1 multiplexer. So this is a very clever thing that we do. There are 4 inputs, and what are these 4 inputs? One is basically your B0. So basically what we are trying to achieve is we are going to do say some operation with the 2 numbers. The first number is A, so which is A3, A2, A1, A0, and the second number is B, which is B3, B2, B1, B0, and then you can do various operations with these 2 numbers. Okay, so one of the operation possible is maybe A plus B. Okay, just adding these 2 numbers, but that's not the only operation that I want. There are various other operations I am interested. So what I do is basically use this 4 by 1 mux here, and then so here is where I give my B or B0, and then here I just give a NOT gate, so this will become B0 bar. And then what I will do next is basically I will give say 0 here and then a 1 here. Okay, so the same thing repeats. Okay, so the same thing for B0 I will repeat with the B2. So let me just draw it quickly. So this is where I give next 4 by 1 max. So here I will just write it as B1, then B1 bar, then 0, and this is 1. Same thing here also. So output is connected as the second input to the full adder. So 4 by 1 max. So here I will give B2, then B2 bar, then I have 0, and then I have 1. One more. Again a 4 by 1 max. Okay, so its output is given to the second input of the full adder, and here I have my second numbers MSB, which is B3, and then I have B3 bar, then 0, and then 1. So this is how I give. Okay, so now we are going to see what are the operations. So let me say that these are the output. So let us take it as say D0, D1, D2, and D3. Okay, so these are the output. So when I, depending upon the operation that I do, I get the D output and also a carry output. Okay, so now I want to draw the table which will result in from these operations which are possible. So in order to allow a choice between one of the 4 options at the multiplexer input, I will use S0 and S1 as the select input. So depending upon S0 and S1, and I can have a external carry in, so depending upon that also I will have different operations. So I can have 8 combinations, because all these 3 inputs can be independently controlled. So I am just listing out all the operations, all the inputs possible. So So this is again like an opcode, like earlier design. Okay, so it's a 3-bit opcode, so there are 8 possible operations possible. Now we are going to see what is going to be my D. Okay, so D is what we are interested in. So first of all, when all these are zeros, so what is going to happen? So let me say that this is 0, 1, 2, 3 input. Okay, I0, I1, I2, I3, like that. Okay, for multiplexer in every case. So when it is 0, 0, the selection, what is coming out of the multiplexer is basically B0, B1, B2, B3. So what I will get, the full adder, one input is A and the other input is B, and right now the carry is 0, so I will get basically A plus B. Okay, so that's the operation. So the D0 will contain the sum of the two numbers A and B. Okay, so it is just doing a plus operation like this, and that is your okay, so that's what you will do if all these opcodes are 0, 0, 0. Okay, next 0, 0, 1, basically I have an extra bit input carry, so it will be A plus B plus 1. So this is like after adding you get the result, and this is also added with a carry in, like this. Okay, so that's the only difference. So it will be A plus B plus 1. If carry was not there, this 1 will not come, so it is A plus B only. Okay, let's go to the next opcode, that is S1 S0 becomes 0, 1. So the second option will be chosen. So first option has no change in the full order, that is always A, and the second one is going to become complement of all the bit. Okay, so whatever is B, so you will have basically B bar. So that's the operation that you will do. And the next operation, if there is a carry present, it will be A plus B bar plus 1. Now if you look carefully, you are complementing all the bit of the second number and adding 1 to it, so that will give you the 2's complement form of B. Okay, and 2's complement of B means we are basically adding minus B with A. So you can write this as A minus B. This operation you can also write it as A minus B. So if you want to subtract B from A, so in 2's complement method, what we do is basically complement each bit and then add 1 to it, and then the resulting thing will be added with A. Okay, A minus B is A plus 2's complement of B. Okay, that's what we are doing. So this is the way you can get subtraction. So subtraction is very important, like addition. So we would so in that light, if you revisit the previous output case, so you have now 1 here, so you can write this as A minus B minus 1. So this is like subtraction with a borrow input. Okay, so that way you can reinterpret it. Okay, so let me state those things. So this is like add, so this is add with carry, and this is subtract with borrow, and this is just subtraction. Okay, where we are using the 2's complement method. Okay, next arithmetic operation that we can perform, let's see what we are going to get. So we are giving 0 everywhere. So then what happens, so it will be like A plus 0, I mean a 4-bit number where everything is 0, and then the carry is also 0. Here carry is also 0, every bit is also 0 because of 1-0 combination. So so this is basically A. So you just get this is basically transfer. Okay, so you are just passing it through. Okay, so if you sometimes you want to pass the content directly, you don't need to do anything, so that option is also available. The next one, if you look at it is going to be again a 4-bit number with all zeros. If you add then after that you add the carry 1. So that will be like incrementing. So increment. Okay, so this is incrementing. Next one, let us look at. So there will be a 4-bit 1 that will be coming here at the output of the multiplexer. So you are basically taking 1 1 1 1 and adding with A. So A plus something like 1 1 1 and then carry is 0. So what is it going to do? So what is 1 1 1? 1 1 1 all ones are basically corresponding to the 2's complement of minus 1. Okay, for example, if you take plus 1, it is 0 0 1. So if you want to take the 2's complement, what you do? First of all, you invert every bit, so it will become 1 1 1 0, and then add 1 to it, so you get 1 1 1. So that means this is corresponding to minus 1. So you can write it as A minus 1. So this is decrement. Okay, that is another option that is possible. And then you add so this is basically the previous one, A minus 1 plus 1, so which is A. Again it is transfer. Okay, so there is a repetition here, redundancy here. We are not getting any new operation. It is just the same as what we got earlier. So there is one operation which is redundant, otherwise we get all distinct different operations. So though 8 operations are possible with 3 bit opcode, but in this particular design we are not getting 8 unique operations, we are only getting 7 unique operations. So that's basically the content of D0, D1, D2, D3, which I call as a result, which is D. Okay, all right. So the result is also involved in C out. So C out is the MSB of the arithmetic operation result. Now let's go to the second block, which is the logic block. So next, number 2 is the logic block. So logic block, again we will consider 4-bit case. So what we require is basically we need to decide what are the operations that we want, what are the logic operations. So if you have two say 4-bit binary numbers, you can perform bitwise operation, say like A3, A2, A1, A0, and B3, B2, B1, B0. So when you perform the logic operation, say for example if you are performing AND operation, so what we will do, so we will take we will combine bitwise these two, and we will combine bitwise these two like this. Okay, so it will be A3 dot B3, so that is 1 bit. Then you will have A2 dot B2, another bit, and then A1 dot B1, and then A0 dot B0. So these are the going to be the output. So depending upon the value of A3 and B3, you will have AND operation of these individual bit. And if you want another operation, you can have say OR operation, A3 plus B3, then A2 plus, this is not addition, this is the OR logic. So it's a logic operation. That means if any one is 1, either A2 or B2 is 1, then A2 plus B2 is going to be 1. So if both are 0, then only it is going to be 0, whatever is in the bracket. So then A0 plus A0. Okay, so these are some of the examples that you can think about. Now so we will take say for example and then OR, and then complement. That means taking inversion operation, complement, then XOR. Okay, so we will take these four as the chosen operation. So we want these four operations to be achieved. You can also think about achieving more operations. So let me say complement of A. So then if I want another four more, I can implement that also. So let's say NAND, then NOR, then say B bar. Earlier it was A bar, so I can also call it as A bar. Then say XNOR. Okay, so if I want 8, then these are the 8 options that I would like to have. But if I only want 4 operations, then the first 4 is what I want to have. Okay, so depending upon what you want, what are the logic operations that you want, then accordingly we have to make the design. You all studied 8085 last semester, so 8085 also has certain 2-bit operations possible, like OR operation, AND operation. These are possible, and complement is also possible. So we are kind of going to stick with the first 4 right now, but I will tell you what you need to do if you want more than 4 operation, or if you want 8 operations, what you need to do. So all you need to do is basically, again, we require multiplexers. So I will denote this multiplexer like this, 4 by 1 max. So it has 1 output and then 4 input. Okay, and each of the input correspond to one of the logic operations. So here what I do is I use AND gate and give A0, B0 here. So this is my, say, E0, the output, and then I will implement the next operation, say AND operation. So that also has 2 input, A0, B0, and then next I want A bar. So what I do is I just connect a complement, A bar, and then if I want XOR, I need to use a XOR gate here. So that is A0, B0. Okay. So depending upon this opcode, again I need 2 opcodes, so I can use the same S0 and S1 here. So that way I can choose from. So all this will be available at the input, but depending upon what opcode you give, E0 will have an output which is one of the chosen one from the input. Okay, so that's what the multiplexer do. So similarly we need to do repeat this for other bits also. So I will just show it with the dotted lines. So same thing you repeat for A1, B1 with the same gates, and the last case is basically I will drawing. So here also you will have S0, S1, and this is my E3. So first of all, OR gate inputs are A3 and B3, then AND gate inputs are A3, B3, inputs are the same, and then NOT gate, if I want A bar, so here I should be giving A, we will get A bar here. Okay, so let me just read that. So NOT gate, so here it will be A0 bar, and I will give only A0 here. So A0, sorry, here it will be A3, and I will get A3 bar here. And the final one, I said I will give a XOR gate. So depending upon what gate operation you want, so this is A3 and B3. Okay, so that is my E3, and E1 and E2 are in between. It's like a similar 4x1 mux. I am not showing that explicitly, but assume that they are also available. So this is my logic unit. Okay, so my logic unit has all the gates operations which I want, and that is repeated for each bit, and for each bit there is a multiplexer. Now if I want to incorporate say 8 different logic operations, then what I need to do is I need to take a 8x1 multiplexer, and there will be 4 more inputs for 8x1 multiplexer. There I put NAND, NOR, B bar, XNOR, all those things. Okay, and to the maximum we can have 16 operations that are possible. So you need to increase the opcode. Here it is only 2-bit opcode. I can use that the carry in also as an opcode, and then implement 8 different logic operations. But for the moment I hope you are already aware, understood the idea of the design, and so you can scale it up to any number okay, according to the number of bits available. Okay, so next one is basically the shift operation. So before we go into the shift operation, so what I would like to do is basically all these things I'm going to put inside a single block, and I will call it as the logic block. Okay, so a logic block means everything which I have drawn here. So there are 4x1 multiplexer, and each of them have all this AND, NAND, AND, OR, NOT, and XOR gates. Okay, so everything is going to be put in the form of a block, logic block I will call it as, and it has 4 outputs: E0, E1, E2, E3. And what about the input? It has A0, A1, A2, A3. Another 4-bit input: B0, B1, B2, B3, and then it has got 2 select input. Okay, so this is basically the block corresponding to, just like in Verilog you have defined the external the big module, and inside which we have some hierarchical structure here like this. Okay, so it's the same idea here, and I can do the same with this arithmetic unit also. So since okay, let me do that here also. Okay, so let me do it here. So this is my S1, S0, and here I have an additional input which is say carry input, and then I have so this is my A input, and then I have a 4-bit B input. Okay, so this is my arithmetic block, and here the outputs were like D0, D1, D2, D3, and I have also C out. So this is my arithmetic output. So if I want to make a what is called as arithmetic shift logic shift unit, so I will make use of these blocks. So let me just so first of all what I would do is basically I will have a multiplexer, a 4x1 multiplexer. So finally I am coming into arithmetic logic shift unit. Okay, so I said I would need a 4x1 mux. Okay, so this is not part of any of the earlier ones. So this is where I'll get the output of the entire arithmetic logic shift units. Say let me call it as F0. Now here what I will do is I can choose it from D0 or E0, or I can perform left shift or right shift operation. So for left shift I will give it from serial in left. Okay, from the left side whatever is the serial in, I'll give it here, and then that will go to F0. Okay, so this is okay. So if I want to make it look like what we discussed in the beginning of today's class about universal shift register, then our LSB was on the rightmost side. Okay, so if I want to adopt that picture, then I should give here my input from. So what I want to do is basically the value of data contained in A I want to shift to the left. Okay, so this is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So if I want to shift to shift left, so this is LSB. So if I am shifting it to the left, I should take it from serial in which is on the right side. Okay, so because it is F0, so our A register is something like this. So this is our A0, A1, A2, A3. So and if I want to shift, so it has to enter in from serial in right. Okay, and it will go like this direction. So for that I am putting it since it is the LSB, I have to do that. And then if I want to do the right shift, I should take it from A1. And a similar thing I have to now do it for other bits also. So again 4x1 max 0, 1, 2, 3. So here I will give my D1. Then for logic operation output I give then E1, and here for right shift for left shift, so this is basically left shift, and this is basically right shift. Okay, so left shift means you are entering data from the right and shifting it to the left. So here it should be coming from A0, and this should be coming from so this is basically F1, so it should be coming from A2. Okay, so similarly you do the other two. I will show the last one. There is one more in between, I am just omitting. So this will be directly going to F3. F2 is in between. So here I will have D3, E3. Then for left shift I should take it from the previous one, that is A2, and here I should take from serial in on the left side. So this is again right shift, and this is left shift. Okay, so for left shift whatever is input. So now how do you decide whether you perform arithmetic operation or logic operation or shift operation to the right or shift operation to the left? It is decided by two additional control signals. So for that I put in So S0 S1 we have already used, so we need to put S2 S3. Okay, so my opcode is now like essentially 5 bits. Okay, so this is also 4 by 1, and my output is basically coming from this. Okay, so then apart from this, I can have additional flags, just like in microprocessor you had flag register. For example, my carry out, if there is an overflow I can detect, if there is a carry out I can detect, or if all the bits are 0, I can have another flag where you just need to take an OR operation of all this F0 to F3, and so all of that is possible. But so here I am just showing only the arithmetic, logic and shift unit, but I can also add. So this is basically the thing, but all these inputs you need to take it from the previous blocks. Okay, so there is a separate block which is actually driven by the control signal S0 and S1. Okay, and S2 and S3 will decide what operation that we will produce. S2 and S3. So let me just state it explicitly here. What is the output look like with respect to S3, S2? What is the content in my output, which is F? So it could be 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Okay, so if I put S3 S2, I am saying that it is arithmetic. It is configured as an it will perform arithmetic operations. Now which of the arithmetic operation will be decided by my S1 and S0. Okay, so that will so opcode has two part, you can say. One is like S2 S3, which decide the operation that the block will perform, what type of operation, whether it is arithmetic or whether it is logic. If it is 0 1, it will be logic. So if it is 1 0, it will be shift left, and 1 1 means shift right. So out of these 4 different operations, so one will be chosen depending upon S3 S2, but once say arithmetic is chosen, then the other control bits, that is your S1 and S0 will decide which of the arithmetic. There were 8 I listed, so out of that 8, 2 are basically, 1 is redundant, but so you can choose from any of those possibilities. And similarly, you can even use carry in as an additional input to choose from one of the 8 possible logic operations, so that way you can design you can have more number of options possible. So in short, I'll conclude here. S3 S2 control input will decide what type of operation, arithmetic, logic or shift. Shift is 2 types, left shift and right shift, and then S1 S0 will decide which of the arithmetic or which of the logic operation that you are performing, along with the carry in. Okay, so that's where I would like to close for today.